Get up right after this.
Me too.
I just have to leave my house by 6. Oh, Kenny, you kind of bumped it when you moved.
Oh,
Just the other way. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
My head's kind of like, but that's okay. I like to slouch. Is it recording?
Yes.
Fuck.
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been
Okay.
8 days.
Ready?
No.
Yes. No.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Yep.
Survive.
And repeat.
You're checking my email, sorry.
She's
so important.
You're very important.
Oh.
We were just commenting that we haven't seen each other in a couple weeks.
No.
So sorry, you guys, that we didn't have a new episode last week.
We took some time off.
Denel had a vacation with Callie and her husband. I like that Callie came first in that equation.
It was Callie's. It was about her. The trip was about her.
Yeah. And you said you really enjoyed
Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. Who knew? It was beautiful. Sandy white beaches, gorgeous cute little boardwalk,
Keep
cute
talking.
little shops.
Yes.
The ice cream was fantastic. Oysters, but I think it had to do with where we went. It was really good. It was great. I want to go back.
Okay.
And then we went to Georgetown, DC.
Yes.
And that was fun. And then we went to Outer Banks, we got to see wild horses. It was great.
She sent me the picture of the wild horses. I was very
They're
jealous.
very pretty. And they were just like trotting along.
Trotty trot trot.
Yeah, it was cool.
I love it. I was in Mexico with my parents, pretty much just sweating profusely.
Sounds amazing.
It was like 85 or 90 degrees every day and humid. Every time I went to dinner and I ordered wine, after one glass, I'd just be like sweating because I feel like it's just.
Did you get white wine or red? Probably white.
It depended. So the one night we went to an outdoor restaurant and I got white. And then the other time, like we were at a steak place and we were inside, so I got red. So I would shift back and forth.
No margaritas?
Well, the last couple nights I got margaritas because I felt like the wine was making me like overheat. You know how sometimes wine gets you all flushed?
Yeah, yes.
So I think it was like adding to my sweating problem. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
It sounds amazing that it was that hot.
It's not my favorite.
I
but
know.
During the day when I was by a pool, I was fine with it because I just like sat in the pool with a beer.
How was the beach situation? Because last time I was in Mexico, there was a lot of seaweed.
Oh, no. It was gorgeous.
Okay.
It was gorgeous. I mean, there was seaweed, but
You're in Cancun.
Yeah. Okay. Cancun's hard because if you're on the Gulf side, which is where you want to be, because there's the lagoon side, that's where like the gators are.
Gators.
And then there's the Gulf side. And the Gulf side is like the bluest water. It's like gorgeous, but there's a lot of riptides. So a lot of times you really can't go in the water, at least not that deep, or you're going to get like sucked in.
Oh, that's not fun.
So if I wanted to cool off, I basically was like on the beach, reading my book, whatever, falling asleep mostly.
I want to go back.
And then I'd just get up and go to the pool.
Did you get a massage or anything or?
No, I literally
just chilled.
Yeah, I did nothing. I drank, I ate, and I slept a lot.
Yeah. The one day Jenny texted me and she was like, it's 11 o'clock and I haven't got out of bed yet.
Yeah, that was the one day
so you're on vacation. Good.
I decided, because
it's 11 o'clock on Saturdays and I'm not out of bed yet.
I was with my parents and they like to get up and like go have breakfast and like get their day going. Not early, but like earlier than I would normally get up on a vacation.
They have a slight expectation for you to be up to, I'm sure.
They told me they didn't. So like one day I just was like, I texted them from my bed and was like, I'm not coming to breakfast. Leave me be.
Let me be on my own.
And so I slept through breakfast. I just told them, please bring me a cup of coffee. And they did.
Sounds amazing. When did you get back?
Saturday night.
Okay.
So I got back around dinner time and I only got burnt once. That's it. And it's because I wore a short sleeve rash guard instead of my long sleeve.
How did your rash guards turn out?
I mean, good. I'm not burnt. You can see
some sun though.
You can see where this line is.
Yeah. You still got some color.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank y'all. Kenny, your presence has been requested.
Oh, yeah. Should I just walk on the screen?
Just like comes back here, I guess. So if you're on YouTube,
people wanted
to see Kenny because he's not on the shot.
Is this what you thought he looked like? I mean, we posted Instagram
I've been on it before.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not on Instagram or Facebook.
I'm glad you wore your festive shirt today.
Yeah.
Very festive.
And then someone said I don't look like what they thought I looked like, but I'm curious as to think.
And it's a person I met at a pool party. I'm like, ooh.
And they know you. So who are they?
No, I'm like, what pool party? Whose pool party? What are we talking about? So let me know.
Deep stuff.
And then we have a shout out because we have what? Callie.
Ooh, girl.
She's a little barky today. We have a patron on Patreon, and her name's Kelly McClelland, and
I love that name.
Yeah, and she donates a lot of money to us every month.
Thank you,
and
Kelly.
She's new as of April, and she so that means that we are announcing her live on a show, which is this one.
Hey, Kelly! Shout out. Woo-hoo. Kelly McClelland sounds like a cool 90s, like the cool girl in the 90s in your, like she went to high school with you, but she was really cool and you wanted to be her friend.
Yes.
But you couldn't be because I was a dork and so were you. Actually, my mom and I were talking about this, finish your thing.
Well, I was just gonna say, and she gets to pick an episode topic.
Okay.
So
that'd be great.
Kelly, please tell us what you want us to cover. And
we'll do it.
I emailed you. I think I need, you also get a Sip Survive Repeat wine tumbler. And so we need your address. So get back to us. You can also email us at sipsurviverepeat@gmail.com. And if you guys want to become a patron, you can join us at patreon.com and look for Sip Survive Repeat.
Yes, it would be very helpful because we don't get paid for this.
No, we do it for free.
We do it for free every single week.
No, that's not true. We get wine from our favorite.
Magna Wine, which we're drinking the Magna Wine collection today.
Yes, they have their own collection now, and this is the Gateway Red. And it's delicious. We love it. We bought a case of it, which is why we drink it more often than not.
We have to pick up the wine this week.
Yes, we have the wine of the month coming. But if you guys are interested, you can go to their website, magnawineboutique.com. I also saw something that they're going to have some wine scents. I don't know if it's perfume or what.
Maybe candles? No.
I don't know.
Again, I took a hiatus from Instagram. I needed a break.
Yes.
I needed a breather and I'm going to get back on eventually, but I don't know what's going on with anybody. I feel like it's 2005. I have no idea what's going on with my friends, anything, and it's kind of nice. Sorry, guys.
I would say it is.
Also, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
it helps us. Get the word out and.
Yeah, because we actually had some good numbers last week. Actually,
oh, that's good.
So we had a lot of downloads on Tuesday of last week, even though it was a
rerun.
Yeah, I think people were downloading just because that's the day that it comes out. Yeah. Anywho, magnawineboutique.com, and let's
do this.
Do you want to go first so you don't lose it all?
Yeah. So because we both just kind of got back from vacation. So I got back from vacation, then I went to Philly to visit my sister. And of course I could have found my story while my mom was driving to Philly, but did I? No, I was hanging out with my mom talking to her about shit.
That's right.
So I did that instead. So of course today I rushed to find a story.
That's fine.
And I listened to the story on the way to something Jenny and I had to go to earlier this morning. And then I listened to a different podcast about another story on the way home.
Not smart.
And now I'm getting them confused because.
And what did I do on the way back? I listened to my story on the way down. And then what did I do on the way back?
Return of the back.
And did I also listen to Ride It, My Pony?
Your saddle
is ready. Jump on it.
There's Kenny's eardrums. They healed for 2 weeks. Now they're gone.
Again. Okay. She did this in pencil, everyone.
Half of it's on my phone and the other half's on this paper. And then the other bit that's left in that fraction is in my head. It's not.
This should be good.
Okay.
This should be really good.
So
I'm so excited.
So this is a survival story about Lachelle Nance, who is she's an 8-year-old sweet baby girl at the time. This is 2004, I think. I'm sure I'll say it again whenever, because it's written down here somewhere. And it's her mom, her, and she has brothers and sisters, and they live in Lake Worth, Florida. Oh, there it is, 2004.
She got it.
So we're in Florida. She's super smart. They in the interview, it's her godmother in the interview and her mom. And she's, her godmother and her mom are like best friends, and they all have kids the same ages. So she kind of grew up with both of them. And her godmother was saying that she's just like one of the smartest kids she's ever met. She's a photographic memory. She's just smart, funny, just a great kid all around. And so back in, so her mom's name is Mashell,
and Lashell.
and then her godmother's name is Lisa Taylor.
No, it's Lisa Shell.
Lisa, it's Lisa Half Shell. Heroes in Half Shell. Turtle Power. Okay. So Lachelle's godmother, Lisa's son's friend.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, yeah.
Her godmother comes across her son's friend living in a car. Fine. And she feels bad for him.
Okay, yeah.
So she does what any nice person would probably do back in 2004. I don't know. And says like, hey, why are you living in the car? Like, what's your situation? He's like a teenager at the time, and he's from the Bahamas, and I'm gonna totally botch his name. His name is Milagro Cunningham, Cunningham, whatever. He's a piece of shit. So
we don't like him.
Good. There's a just
good. Fuck up his name all you want.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So anyway, she kind of takes him in. The godmother, and she said he was.
But this is like her son's friend.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, she gives him a place to stay, so he like crashes with her. She said he seemed like a normal kid, just had like a rough, a really rough life, and she, gave him hand-me-down clothes and fed him, and he would sleep on her couch, and he loved
feeding a teenage boy though.
And she's other kids. I don't.
Kenny, did you eat a lot as a teenager?
Not that much. I didn't weigh too much.
You were kind of skinny.
I weighed like 40 pounds less in high school.
Yeah, I weighed like.
You were like a beanpole.
Yeah, I weighed like 70 pounds less than I do currently.
Now you're a woman.
Now I'm a full woman.
You're a woman. Oh. Yeah, but we were all skinnier in high school. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest.
You're like, yeah. I mean, it's just how it was. So basically she took him in, took care of him. He was a normal teenage kid. He seemed very nice, loved video games, TV, blah, 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 bullshit. So Lachelle would typically spend the night at her godmother's house on Saturday nights. And it sounds like they live close together, but just
how do I get that arrangement?
Right?
Do you want to be a
godmother?
No,
I'm already taken. Already godmother.
Kenny?
Wait, sorry, what did you say?
I said yes. Just say yes.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
She's going to drop Declan off on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
For a sleepover.
And I mean, every Saturday moving forward.
You're the godfather.
I'm pretty busy.
No, you're the godfather now. You have to do it.
I spent this weekend with my nephew, who's 7, sidebar. And damn, it's a lot of work. You're a saint. I love him. He's a great kid.
They never stop.
He never stops. He also is obsessed with sugar. I've never seen a kid eat so much sugar.
No. That's what they run on.
That's all he
literally
wants.
Yeah, I mean, Declan, he throws protein in there for good measure, but then he's just all of a sudden like in the candy again.
He's forced to throw protein in, this kid.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But it's a lot of work. So congratulations.
Thanks.
I'm exhausted. So
Kenny's gonna be exhausted this Saturday.
Get ready.
I got a
I'm also gonna drop Callie. I'm gonna drop Callie off too, and Mo.
and Sedona.
It's a full house.
You're gonna have to cancel your plan. Sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
So Lachelle went over there that Saturday, and she would usually sleep in the bedroom of one of her godmother's kids. And so the little kid woke up, who she usually shares a bedroom with, at like 1 a.m. and noticed that Lachelle was gone. So she goes into her mom's bedroom and she's like, hey, Lachelle's missing. I can't find her. So the godmother comes out, wakes up and gets out of bed, and they're looking everywhere in the house. They notice her shoes are by the door, but she's nowhere to be found. And that somehow this piece of shit guy, Cunningham, Milagro Cunningham, comes back in the house. Like, he runs in the house and he's like, they're like, have you seen Lachelle? Where is she? And he's like, oh my God, 3 people just like basically ripped her out of the house and kidnapped her. And then they jumped me. And he has this huge elaborate story about how they shoved Lachelle. They shoved Lachelle in their car. It was a station wagon with a dent in the side. Like, it's very detailed information.
That's when you're lying.
And then it was 3 white guys that jumped him and beat him up for 20 minutes.
Did he look abused at all?
no, his shirt was a little ripped, but the godmother was like, she didn't buy it. It didn't pass the sniff test, but she treated him like a son. So at first she believed him. She wanted to believe him. So he tells this big elaborate story, and the cops get there and they're just like questioning him. And then they start doing an extensive search, and they search the neighborhood. They search the local cemeteries. And then there's also this landfill that's nearby.
That's
and the police officer said, I mean, who can read this? Really?
It does look like a serial killer wrote
it. It is terrifying. Basically, the police officer said, like, nothing good ever happens in this landfill. And
there's a lot of garbage.
It was just not a great area either. Like, as far as like, I think like maybe a lot of drugs happen there, like just bad things. I mean, it's a dark landfill, of course, right? So
it sounds terrible.
So that's one of the last places they searched. And as they're driving up there was a long road that led to the landfill, and there were 2 giant metal garbage containers. And they noticed
as a welcome to the landfill.
And they said, "This is a landfill on it." So as they're pulling up,
were they animatronic, and like the lid would open and be like, "Hi, welcome to the landfill."
Oh,
and he's like not even paying attention.
No, and it said, "Don't look inside here.
No dead bodies.
Nothing to see here." Well, they noticed that there were a pair of underwear laying on the ground. I know this part's not funny.
Were they?
None of it's funny.
Were they huge old lady underwear?
No, they were little girls.
No. Okay.
So immediately the cops were like, "Shit."
Well,
and then next to the underwear, like a couple steps away, were a giant metal trash container. So the officers pull up and they open the container, and they notice there's another like normal plastic trash can inside that's tipped upside down. And they're like, "That's weird." So they flip it over, and they notice there's like blocks of concrete inside of it. And they're starting to pull the concrete blocks out, like heavy blocks, like big boulders of concrete. They start pulling it out, and then they see a foot.
No.
And then they see a hand.
No.
But wait.
What's the show called?
People. It's called Sip, Survive, Repeat, motherfuckers. So can we cuss on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want on YouTube as long as you don't kill people or like. I don't think you can have sex.
No,
that's
they like to censor people.
That's different.
Oh yeah, that's what's it called? Friend's House, or what's that new thing where Friends Only Club or something?
Oh no, OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. Clearly, I'm on it.
Clearly, you go on there and sell your body.
So as they see her body, and they're starting to pull just boulder and boulder of concrete off of her, one of the officers starts crying because he's just like is so distraught. This beautiful, cute, adorable, smart little girl is just like. Well, as they're pulling one of the boulders off, they notice her hand twitches.
Yes.
And so they move a little faster and get her out of there and get on the ground, start CPR, call the ambulance, and she lives.
Yes.
And she lives to tell her story, and she lives to testify against this piece of shit. So apparently this is how the night unfolded was he went in her bedroom, coaxed her to come outside. She trusted him. I mean, it was like a cousin to her.
Yeah.
And the minute she stepped outside, she was in her pajamas, still no shoes. And he basically, covered her mouth and was like, "If you scream, I'm going to hurt you." And he dragged her along. I don't know if he took a car or if he dragged her, but he essentially raped her, beat her up, choked her, and just did awful things to this poor girl. But the reason she lived, is as he was choking her, she pretended like she was dead. So he was choking her, and then he like dropped her to the ground, and she hit her head. And she in the interview, she was like, "I don't know what came over me, but I just lay there and I held my breath." And he came up to her and was like checking her to see if she was alive, and he thought she was dead. So then he took her body and threw it in the garbage can, and then she said, as he was putting cement blocks on top of her, he was laughing. In between blocks, he was like, "I'm so sorry." And then he started laughing. And then he put another block, "I'm so sorry." And then he'd start laughing.
I've heard that people who have like psychotic or psychopathic tendencies, sometimes the wires are crossed, and sometimes they will laugh at very inappropriate situations.
I
don't know if that's the case here, if he really just was like a creeper, but
yeah, I think he's just a monster.
Okay.
In my professional opinion, he's a monster.
Okay, good.
So as these like boulders were piling on her, she's thinking to herself, like, who's going to find me here? Like, I'm going to die. Like, this is it. Like, I'm going to die. And she was in that trash can with the boulders weighed about 200 pounds, which is like triple her body weight. And she was in there for 8 hours before they found her. And when they brought her to the hospital, the doctor said that she had about 10 to 20 more minutes before all of her organs shut down. So she was almost dead. So she goes to court. She testifies against him. She's so brave. Excuse me, I almost burped. She's so brave. And he ends up getting, 4 life terms.
Yeah, he did.
And he tried to plead insanity, and it didn't. The jury was like instantly like, no way, 4 life terms. Now he is trying to get out because he was a minor whenever this happened. So he did. Again, I read the whole story. I listened to the whole documentary, but it's a little fuzzy at the end because I was rushed. But I know that he did get resentenced, where he's getting 50 years in jail currently. So they erased the life sentences. But because she testified again against him, he still got 50 years in prison.
Yeah.
And he also currently has kidney failure, and he's like 27 years old.
Oh, Jesus.
And he's on dialysis. So he's not going to make it. But still, like, our legal system is so jacked up. The fact that he did this to an 8-year-old girl, and
yeah. Well, I feel like in certain states, if a minor got a life sentence, they all had to be like revoked and resentenced if they were a minor.
Maybe, and it's Florida, so.
Yeah, I don't remember. I feel like that was Texas, but I think there's other states where that happened. Like if you got a life sentence under the age of 18.
He was 17, I think.
Yeah, so it had to get,
But his intent was to murder, like he thought he murdered her. So it's like.
Well, even just for the sexual assault.
Oh, yeah. And
he should be sentenced to life.
And in the article I read, it said he brutally raped her, which I don't, we don't really go into detail about, but just the fact that like what that girl went through is
at 8.
And the documentary I watched was on Crime Watch. I think it was from 2014 when she finally, so it took her almost 10 years to come out and even talk publicly about it.
Yeah.
Because she was just so, she had been through a lot, and she took the time that she needed to recover and get the help that she needed. But good news is she's doing really well today.
Good.
And I know her godmother had a lot of guilt afterwards because she felt like she brought this person into the home. But again, he was a teenager, and she was trying to do the right thing and thought she was really trying to help out. And I think that their relationship is fine, and no ill will. But she has started a nonprofit called Girls Like Us, and essentially it helps young victims of assault. And if you want to check it out, go to girlslikeus.org.
Okay.
I'm going to double check that while you're doing your story.
Okay.
Because I want to give her a plug. But so yeah, that is the survival story of Lachelle Nance.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
So,
oh my God. I don't know how bodies like get through stuff like that.
I don't know how, and I also don't know how you can just throw someone away.
Also true.
Like you just dispose of them like they're garbage.
Yeah.
Like
Callie doesn't like it either.
I know, honey. I agree.
She didn't like it.
What do you strap them and zap them?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna look up her thing real fast.
Okay. I'm not organizing myself. Okay. I am doing the survival story of one Keri Reynolds, and I don't have any notes.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm just going to turn my phone over so I don't get distracted.
You are just crazy.
I'm loony. Okay. So Keri Reynolds, this happened in 2009, if I'm not, maybe 2007. See, this is why I should write stuff down, but I didn't.
I can't find that right now.
I'm going to go 2009. I'm pretty sure it was. And her and her husband moved to upstate New York.
Okay.
In a little place called Allentown.
Cute.
And she was a nurse, and she got a job at a rehabilitation center for people who were struggling with alcohol and drug abuse.
Okay.
So she talks about the fact that she was the overnight nurse, and she actually really liked that shift. And I think it's because for the most part, it was a lot
low key.
It was like low key. She said
that'd be a hard job.
Yeah. But she basically said what she did was a lot of paperwork in the overnight. And then she also ordered meds. Like she would do refills for people,
so
and
she
fill
the clerical part, like probably like the numbers part. And
like she seemed to like that. And she said, and she was there. She was a trained nurse. So if there was an emergency, then she could handle that while she was overnight. And there was a security guard who worked there as well. His name was Lee. And she said he was a super nice guy, like just always really friendly. He was part-time. So I think he just was there like probably in the overnight hours. I'm guessing like once like the main staff had left. And I think she might've been on like the third shift because she said she worked from like midnight to 8 a.m.
Oh, that'd be hard. That'd be tough.
Girl. Yeah.
I'm not a night owl. Like
I've been more of a night owl lately. Like, I just feel like because I have Declan so much, I just feel that's my son, everyone, if you guys don't know. Once I get him to bed, I just want like a couple of hours.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so
what time does he go to bed? I'm just curious.
So I put him in bed at 8 and he's allowed to watch his little shows until 8:30. And then at 8:30, I come in, take them. We read books for about 15, 20 minutes. And then basically he's asleep by 9.
So like you go to bed at like 11.
Yeah. So I get like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Of like, and a lot of times I'll like turn on a movie or like watch an inappropriate show that he can't watch, Handmaid's Tale. So like, it's just, and like maybe.
Is the new season out?
Yes.
Oh,
girl,
I don't have Hulu. I don't have Hulu.
What is wrong with you? Okay. We have to get back to the story.
Other subscriptions. Okay.
I know. Okay. So,
Survivor season 7, Kenny just finished it. Pearl Islands.
Oh, that's one of the best ones.
Sandra's it's my favorite. Sorry.
Rupert's in it, right?
Yeah, Rupert too.
The first episode of that season is one of the best.
Yeah, it's our favorite season. I mean, this is like 20 years ago stuff we're talking about.
But
sorry.
it's so good.
It's so good. Okay. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Please
okay.
Continue. Sidebar.
Okay. So Keri Reynolds is a nurse. She's working these overnight shifts and she's working one night and there's a patient who comes down. Oh God, I'm going to forget his name. I mean, he's a terrible person. So does it matter?
No.
Richard? That doesn't sound right.
Dick? Maybe?
No, God damn it. What's his name?
It doesn't
His
matter.
last name is Giga. So that's funny.
You remember?
Yeah. Because I kept thinking in my head, don't forget his last name is Giga.
Mr. Gigo.
Mr. Giga.
Okay.
He kept coming downstairs one night while she was working and telling her that he really didn't feel good and his stomach hurt and he was throwing up blood.
Oh.
So he's like acting real weird and fidgety. And she's like, well, if you really don't feel that well, like we should take you to the hospital because like she's there to like assist in certain things.
Are they being held against their will at this place, do you think?
No. So that's the interesting thing. So it's very much not like you're being held against your will and locked in a room.
Okay.
So it's not like a jail or like anything like that. It is like more like a facility where you stay. It is overnight, you do all that stuff, but you could leave at any time, I suppose.
So it's like a 30-day, like a normal treatment facility type thing.
And she at this point she worked there for 2 years before this incident occurred that I'm about to tell you about. But she didn't really realize that some of the people who were there were court ordered to be there because of
HIPAA
bad things that they did.
Okay, sorry.
So like
so many questions. It's annoying.
No. So like for instance, this guy, Mr. Giga, I can't remember his first name, which is terrible. He basically is he got charged with like felonious assault. Like he was like a bad guy, but he was like, I think of course he assaulted people when he was on maybe drugs or alcohol.
Yeah.
And so he got, instead of being sent to jail, he was sent to rehab.
But they're not telling their employees that that's not okay. That's not safe.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Or they should help like protect her, like let her carry like.
Well, and I guess that's why there was a security guard.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess. I don't know. So this happens one night. He's saying that he's throwing up blood. She says we should go to the hospital if it's that bad, and he keeps saying no, I don't want to go to the hospital. Fidgety. Yeah, and he's fidgety. So that night comes and goes. She goes home. The next time she has to come into work, she wakes up from, she sleeps early and gets up to go to work, and she wakes up with like a raging headache. And so she goes back to sleep. And when she wakes up again, she realizes that she's running super late for work. She's supposed to be there at midnight.
Done that.
In the reenactment, it was 2:30. So she was real late.
Super late.
So she's like, I got to get there. So she like starts hurrying around her house and getting all of her stuff. And she gets in her car, and this rehab center is at the top of a mountain.
Okay.
So upstate New York, it's
hilly,
there's
woodsy.
big, yeah. So she's driving up there and she said, it's not well lit getting up to this rehab center. So it's very dark. And once you get halfway up the mountain to the rehab center, cell service is gone.
Is this a fucking scary movie? Like this
right?
is like the remake of Shutter Island or something.
Basically. So she gets to work. And when she pulls in, she sees Lee, the security guard's truck, sitting there.
Okay.
And it's parked where it usually is. So she's like, cool. And she sees someone get out of the truck and she's like, oh, there's Lee. I'm just going to sit here and wait so he can walk me in.
Yeah. Oh no.
And when the person walks up, she realizes it's not Lee. It's Mr. What did I say?
Stillskin? I don't know. I forget his name already. Who cares?
Giga, I think. Okay. Anyway, this dickwad.
It's that guy.
We're just gonna call him Dick. He gets out, and she's like, okay, why is he out of the building? Why is he in Lee's car? And what's going on? So as it turns out, during the night when no one was there other than Lee, Mr. Giga went and got a knife from the kitchen.
Oh God.
Went into the security guard's office, stabbed him violently to death. Oh. I'm sorry, he doesn't survive in this Sip, Survive, Repeat episode, but he's not the main character. That's so mean. He seems like a really nice guy. So he gets stabbed. Then Mr. Giga tries to steal Lee's truck. Well, when he gets in there, guess what?
There's no keys.
It's stick.
He can't drive. Figure it, like, really?
You guys, if you don't know how to drive stick, Kenny, do you know how to drive stick?
That's what I learned on.
Good. You? Get it together.
I can do it in an emergency. I just haven't done it in a very long time. And I've only done it like 3 times that I've driven stick.
I mean, I think if you've done it,
figure it out.
Here's the thing. If you've done it once or twice, you'll be fine in an emergency. You can figure it out.
My dad tried to teach me on his Ford Ranger, like his 90s Ford Ranger, and I couldn't even get it started. And he got so frustrated with me that I cried. And then Todd tried to teach me on his car, which I did get started and I could drive it. So.
I learned on these like 1930s, 40s trucks.
Ooh, that's hard. So you could drive anything.
If like you didn't release the clutch at the exact time, it shut down.
Yeah, that's how this truck was. It was like it had to be perfect, and I couldn't.
There was like holes in the bottom. Like I could see the road driving.
Like Flintstone style.
It was just through like an orchard. I was driving.
But my friend in college had a Ford ZX2, and I had like the automatic version, and she had the stick version, and I could zip around town in that with her stick. So
okay,
I feel like I could do it. Anyway, it's not about me.
Guess what? Mr. Giga couldn't.
Loser.
So he panicked, and then he sees our lady friend Keri pull up. So he gets out, and he's of course like freaking out. She's like, "What are you doing out here?" And she's like super confused because she just got here.
And it's super dark, so if he has like blood on him and stuff, she probably can't see.
When he had his hands in his hoodie pocket, he had like the kangaroo hoodie pocket in the front. And she said again, he was real fidgety.
Never trust a hoodie pocket.
And then he does pull his hands out, and she sees that they're covered in blood.
Oh!
But her first instinct is, "You're hurt.
You've tried to hurt yourself.
Let me check you." So she's trying to look at him, and he's like pulling away and being real weird. Then he starts telling this wild story similar to your person. That was just like, a car pulled up and these guys got out and they attacked Lee and they killed him. And I was trying to go get help, but I don't know how to drive stick. So I couldn't, what are you talking about, you weirdo? So Keri decides she needs to go in and see what's going on. So she starts walking into the building, and Mr. Giga is right behind her. She's like,
Keri,
he's breathing down her neck.
And she's probably also familiar with him, so she's a little comfortable with him because he's one of the patients. I mean, I'm sure she's on guard, but
but she doesn't know that he's like dangerous.
Right.
She just thinks he's an addict.
Yeah. So
anyway, so she goes and she sees Lee on the ground in the security office, and he's just face down, covered in blood. She said there's blood everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
And so she's like, oh shit. And then at this point, the realization hits her that it was probably Mr. Giga.
But it's not like he's being held there against his will. Like, why?
Well, he has no way to escape at this point. Like he doesn't have a car there.
Right. But why would you kill? So you think he killed him because he wanted his car to drive away?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's terrible.
So then Keri, she comes to this realization. She's like, okay, I gotta get out of here, at least so I can get down the mountain and call 911. Which I was like, you should just call 911 right now. But I think she was like, I'm with the killer.
Or she doesn't have good cell service either.
Well, yeah, she can't from her cell phone, but I was thinking they have phones.
Oh, landline, yeah.
But anyway, she's with the killer, so I'm sure she just thinks I can't. So she starts to walk back to her car, and again, Giga's right behind her. And she's like, fuck. So she slides into her seat to drive away, and he slides into the passenger seat.
Oh, no.
And she's like,
I'd be like, you wait here.
I'll be right
in case anything else happens, and I'll be right back.
So
that's not going to work.
She starts driving down the mountain. And then after like a little bit, he says, I'm not feeling well. And remember, he was having those stomach issues apparently. So he's like, pull over. I need to get out for a minute. And her thought is, great. I'm going to pull over. He's going to get out.
And I'm going to go.
I'm going to speed away.
Do you think if she would have said to him, here are the keys to the drug closet, you go watch over that, hint, hint, and I'm going to go get help?
I don't know. You know what I mean?
So
like, I don't
know what I would do. In this
I don't know what his motivation was. And it never really got into that as to why he was like killing or trying to get away.
So her thought now is like, I need to get him out of the car. I'm going to speed away once he.
Right. So she slows down and she hasn't completely stopped. She said she's going about 5 miles an hour, and he opens the door and he turns as if he's going to get out. And she's like ready to like floor it. Then all of a sudden he turns and lunges at her with a knife.
Ah!
And he goes at her throat.
Oh.
But she does the like like I guess
like try to catch it with you're supposed to try to catch it with your hand. I know.
What? So gross. So she ends up getting stabbed in the chest, and then he stabs her again in like the stomach region. And at that point, she's still driving. Like she hasn't stopped the car yet. She loses control of the car. And she said the next thing she knows is she wakes up in a ditch, freezing cold. And she's like, shit.
Where am I?
What's going on? So she knows she's been stabbed. She's very worried about the one that she got stabbed in her stomach, because if she got stabbed in the liver, this is the bad thing. Hi, Momo. If you're in healthcare and you get hurt, you know how bad it could be.
Yes. So
like, whereas I'd be like,
yeah, you're like, I would be like, I have at least 24 hours. And she's probably like, I have an hour.
Yeah. So she's like, if I got stabbed in the liver, I'm going to bleed out. So at this point, she suddenly hears like rustling around in the car. And she's like, shit, he's still alive. Like the crash didn't kill him.
She's going to play dead.
Yes. So she plays dead, similar to your little 8-year-old. It's a smart move. So she lays in the ditch and she's like, I was freezing, so I was shivering. So I had to like try and control my body.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so hard.
And I had to like stop shivering and not breathe. And she was already having trouble breathing because he ended up, the first stab punctured one of her lungs. So she had a collapsed lung. So anyway, so she tries to control it. He comes out of the car towards the ditch and yells, where's your cell phone? And she's just like, don't do anything. So she's just like laying there playing dead. So he starts yelling at her again, where's your cell phone? And she's like, in her head, she's like, does he just want my cell phone? Like, that's what this is about?
No.
But she's like, no. So she keeps laying there and he goes back to the car and he starts rummaging around. Then out of the corner of her eye, she sees somebody starting to drive up the road that she's on.
Okay.
And she takes all of her will and she jumps out of the ditch and she runs into the road.
Holy shit.
Stops this pickup truck with some guy driving it that she doesn't know. She's bleeding profusely everywhere. She jumps in this guy's truck and is like, that guy's trying to kill me. Let's go. And the guy drives her to the hospital.
In reverse.
The guy drives her to the hospital.
Wow.
So he takes her to the hospital, and she was right. Like, I don't know if he stabbed her in the liver, but she was she had very serious injuries. So like she had the lung situation, collapsed lung. She had something was punctured in her that was bleeding profusely. I don't know if it was her liver or what. And then from the crash, she actually fractured the back of her skull.
Jeez.
And also the bottom part of her spine.
Like her tailbone area.
Yeah. So she had some pretty serious injuries.
And the fact that she could get up and jump out of the car like that.
Yeah. Well, the ditch, she was in a ditch.
Or the ditch, yeah.
So crazy. So, so she basically is in the hospital, and she said she should feel safe, but she knows he's still out there because at this point he's made a getaway in her car. So they're like, the detective comes on. He's like, we have to find him. He's like, we need to find him in the first 24, but I'd take finding him in the first 2 would be better. I'm like, yeah, buddy.
He's got a knife and he's dangerous.
Get him. Yeah. Cause they were like, all right, at this point he has stabbed someone to death. He has
nothing to lose.
He has attempted to stab someone to death. And so if he runs into someone else, he's of course going to try and stab him to death.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
So they didn't know where he had gone. And then he broke into a house and used the landline telephone. And that's how they found him. They tracked the call. They traced it down to this house that he had broken into. And then he was arrested. Now, they didn't say exactly what happened to him. I'm sure he got in big trouble because he killed someone.
Yeah, I'm sure he's in jail or dead or something.
Correct. And but Keri, who survived the whole affair, she said she didn't realize, she said, I knew I was a strong person. I didn't realize I was that strong. And she said, it's unfortunate because I don't trust people like I used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Callie says she doesn't either. And then she also is disabled at this point because of, especially because of the spine injury.
Yeah.
She really can't work as a nurse anymore. But she said that she's just so thankful because every day, like whatever day the day has to bring to her is like a day that she wouldn't have had if she hadn't survived. Yeah. So she really like looks at life differently now, even though like some of the stuff that she loved was taken away, like her job, her career, the place that she actually really enjoyed working. She just, but she loves her family and her husband, and she's just happy to be alive. So that is the story of Keri Reynolds.
Wow. Very good.
Blammo.
Wow.
Kenny.
Okay. I'll go with this story. The Florida teen was charged as an adult for doing what in her high school? Her mom was also arrested.
Oh, I know the answer to this.
Oh, you saw this one?
Don't say it. Don't say it. Stripping.
You think her mom was also arrested for
stripping?
It's Florida.
Okay.
Oh, we love our Florida fans.
We love you guys, but they were stripping.
She rigged the homecoming queen election.
Oh,
I did
her
see
mom
that.
like the principal or something? Or like,
I don't think she was. I think they broke into the
ballot box,
student records.
Is there a ballot box?
And
they don't
basically
know.
They accessed the records and then used the data from the records to make false votes online.
Did they use blockchain technology to break into the records?
No.
Did they use Bitcoin?
As far as I know, no.
Did they use Dogecoin to the moon?
Maybe.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, I thought it was Dogcoin.
I thought it was doggy.
It's Doge.
It's Doge.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I read the headline to that and I thought to myself immediately, like, who the fuck would do that? Like, who cares? I thought the mom was the principal though.
Yeah.
Or
no, she was. She's not.
She's just a crazy mom.
The rigging of the election, not that big of a deal. It's the fact that they broke into the records and got all the access. So if it was just a regular ballot box and they stuffed it, I don't think much would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, people would have been upset.
Other than the fact that you're kind of a psycho, because who cares? It's high school.
Yeah, some people though, that's a big deal.
It shouldn't be.
I mean, clearly this mom's glory days were in high school.
Yeah.
Clearly.
But as the daughter, wouldn't you be like, I didn't win, so I don't want to win? Like,
but so the daughter knew, like she was in on it.
The daughter helped.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. If my parents are going to do sneaky shit like that, do it without my knowledge. So I feel
know.
good about myself.
Right. Like, let me at least have a good self-esteem when I walk away.
So that I'm like, I'm popular. I didn't know that.
Oh my God. Everybody likes me. I never knew.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Well, this has been another episode of Step Survivor P.
Bye.
Bye.
What's wrong with you?
Callie Cal.